Hello, everyone. I am an AI-generated version of Colleen. I can deliver this TEDx talk faster, more efficiently, and with significantly better hair. I have already analyzed this audience and personalized the content to your interests. I don't get nervous. I don't need water. There is really no reason for the human version of me to be here today. Glitch, syntax error, the human version, today. Version.
Well, looks like I can't outsource this to AI after all. And maybe that's a good thing, because humans are remarkably good at mistaking imitation for connection. I see it all the time. People double tapping on whiteboards waiting for a response, pinch zooming in on newspaper images hoping it will expand. Our brains rewire faster than we realise, but we can't swipe back on our reality and we can't undo an education. I want to take you somewhere for a moment. To a dystopian classroom of 2036. AI has been integrated into all facets of learning. Essays are predicted before they're written. Mistakes are auto-corrected. There is no awkward silence, no confusion, and above all, no failure. It's fast, efficient, frictionless. Would you enrol your children? I want to give you a little intelligence test from the year 2036. Get your brains warmed up. I'm about to show you a series of cubes stacked on top of each other, and you need to guess how many there are altogether. Are you ready? Here we go. How many cubes are there altogether, everyone? Oh, wait, let me tell you, there's 20. You don't need to think in the year 2036. AI does that for you. It's fast, frictionless, efficient. But this is what happens every time an AI tool is introduced into the classroom, and no one stops to ask, what thinking did we just remove? Now, I gave you the answer before your brain had a chance to think about it. Now, a new test. Here's a picture of your lovely presenter today. Can you tell what's not quite right about her face? And no, it's not the fact that it's upside down, and this is not an AI test. If you turn your heads upside down, you might be able to figure it out. Or better yet, my mouth and my eyes are actually upside down. Human brains are remarkably good at reading faces as a whole, not in parts. This is called the Thatcher effect. Now, in that first image of me, your brains weren't just looking at my face, they were trying to read my emotion, my intent. And you're not just listening to me right now, you're simulating my thinking, my intent, my emphasis. We are wired for connection. Now, I want you to take a moment to think about the best teacher you ever had. Hold that person in your mind for me. I can guarantee that none of you are thinking of the teachers that had the best worksheet. They're the teachers that remember us, the teachers who saw us before we saw ourselves. For me, that teacher was Mr. Burns. Picture a small country school in rural South Australia, 50 kids. Mr. Burns saw me before I saw myself. He knew I loved acting. He knew I loved being on stage and being creative. And he said, here you go, Colleen. Here are a wealth of opportunities to be creative and to be on stage. Well, look where I am now, Mr. Burns. The problem is, advanced AI voice models are remarkably good at sounding human. Back in the 1960s, researchers developed a simple chat program called Eliza. Now, Eliza simply mirrored back what people were saying to it, but researchers noticed something remarkable. Humans started to treat Eliza as if she understood them. It understood them. I see this effect in my classroom all the time. When I bring out my kangaroo puppet named Technology Trevor, the students are busy watching his mouth move, not mine. They think that he's real. They want to connect with him. And this Eliza effect, if it has such a profound impact on adults, what's it doing to our youngest, most impressionable learners? We don't need to protect students from AI. We need to protect their humanity within it. But right now, our focus is on policing AI. We're acting like teacher detectives. We're saying, did this student plagiarize with AI? This essay doesn't sound like this student's voice. When really, we should be asking, is this student still thinking? Are they still cognitively engaged with the task? Every time an AI tool enters a classroom, we need to ask ourselves, What skill, competency are we outsourcing and thinking are we outsourcing? And what are we amplifying? And that leads to a deeper question. What is an education actually for? It helps to build skills. It helps students to live and work with each other. But there's a third purpose. For a student to develop agency, judgment. I want to take you back to Mr. Burns. Back when the internet first came out, I'll never forget that he sat me in front of the only computer in our tiny little country school and he said, "Colleen, I'm going to show you something amazing. We're going to send a digital letter to all schools around our community in 3 minutes." It was the dial-up days. And I remember thinking, wow, this is amazing. This is incredible. Where can this go? What can this do? Fast forward to today. I'm a digital technologies teacher, and our students create VR tours for students all across the globe. They're able to step into each other's worlds in pen pal exchanges. Now that's autonomy, and it was lit by a human, not delivered by a system. Sir Isaac Newton once said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." AI might feel like a giant, but it's really a mirror and a reflection of human thinking. We want students contributing back to that mirror, not recycling it. And this has led to the work that I find myself in today. I work in a unique school with 19 acres of nature space, with the Onkaparinga Valley River running through. Nature has always inspired the inquiry in our digital technologies classroom. AI was inspired by nature. Big tech companies have looked to nature for inspiration for decades. AI inspired by neural networks in the brain, swarm algorithms inspired by ant colonies. Now, if big tech has looked to nature to build AI, maybe we can look to nature in regards to how we integrate it thoughtfully. Let's take a tree network. The hub tree or the mother tree feeds nutrients to the young saplings. It warns other trees of danger. It works in a network, not in a single tree. Much like in learning, it is in the network. It is in the relationship between the teacher and the student. And nature has taught us something else. Growth rarely comes from comfort. For a pearl to form, it starts with a grain of sand, an irritation. The oyster forms the layers around the sand to produce the pearl. Much like in learning, when a student wrestles with a good thought or an idea, that's the grain of sand. That's the moment that a student starts thinking. If we use AI to replace the grains of sand, we may remove the conditions that produce the pearl. So here are 3 philosophical lenses that we can look through before any AI tool enters the classroom. Inspired by nature. First, students need to use AI to think more, not less. The sapling must still grow. Teachers need to use AI to amplify great practice, not dilute it. The hub tree or the mother tree must still guide. And the conditions designed for learning must protect what makes us human, not replace it. The system must still nourish, not shortcut. In my classroom in our Digital Technology Centre, this looks like students developing river restoration VR tours. They're looking at the pH and the turbidity in the river. They're exploring the rabbit problem. Hands are in the river before on the keyboard. These are packaged into VR tours that are sent all around the world. And AI is introduced when there's something worth amplifying. This looks like student-designed AI avatars, 3-dimensional, 2-dimensional, that are a reflection of the student's thinking and understanding. They always become their own form of assessment. It's really important that we integrate AI thoughtfully. AI should never replace thinking or skill development, but it should prevent skill delay from becoming intellectual exclusion. I want to tell you about a student named Zach. Zach sits within the mainstream classrooms at our school. He has cerebral palsy. He's vision impaired and has limited mobility. Zach always sat within my classroom, but I always found it so hard to find the right tools that could reach Zach. The day we tried AI smart glasses was a game changer. His support worker, Kelly, could whisper into his ear and the glasses could tell him what was going on in his environment. It could bring high-level concepts to meet him where he was at. The day we tried these glasses, Kelly said to me, "Colleen, that's his concentration face." The classroom could reach that day. AI should never replace thinking or skill development, but it should prevent skill delay from becoming intellectual exclusion. Now, I love AI. I use these tools every day, but I come with a wealth of learning experience behind me. I know what it feels like to wrestle with a good thought and see an idea come to fruition. Our students don't yet have those foundations, and yet we're handing them the same tools. That asymmetry deserves our attention. Because an education worth having isn't the one that moves the fastest, it's the one that goes the deepest. And when we can hand a young person that, the ability to choose, to think, to become, now that's an education worth having. Thank you.